It started with the sound of chains. Cold, metal chains scraping asphalt just before dawn. Noah stood in his front yard barefoot, staring in disbelief as a tow truck dragged his restored '67 Mustang down the street. No warning. No ticket. Just gone. 3 houses down, Rosa Alvarez screamed from her porch. Her husband's work truck, his livelihood, was already hitched and rolling. She begged them to stop, but the man in the fake uniform just turned away, flashing a clipboard with no official seal, no ID. 12 cars. 12 neighbors. All gone within 40 minutes. Noah rushed toward the driver, demanding answers, but was met with a cold stare beneath mirrored sunglasses. The man pointed to a cheap-looking patch on his shirt. HOA enforcement. Except there was no HOA patrol in this neighborhood. None that anyone had ever voted for. No signs, no emails. Nothing. The driver handed Noah a yellow slip, violation 47B, inoperable vehicle on public display. His Mustang wasn't inoperable. He'd driven it that night, waxed it the day before. This wasn't a violation. This was theft. Across the street, old Mr. Ellis collapsed to his knees as his wheelchair-accessible van disappeared behind another truck. He didn't even try to stop it. Just whispered something no one could hear. By sunrise, the neighborhood looked like a war zone. Driveways empty. Confusion in the air. Phones ringing with no answers. People pacing. Crying. Cursing. Noah wasn't just confused. He was furious. He stormed to the HOA office, but the door was locked. A paper taped to the glass read, "Office closed for system upgrades." He knocked. Pounded. Nothing. Rosa joined him, shaking. Her hands were trembling. Her husband's truck was borrowed. Belonged to a customer. If it didn't come back, they could lose everything. Noah called the police. The dispatcher took down his information, then paused. "You said HOA enforcement? That's not in our system. You sure it was a legal tow?" Noah didn't answer. He didn't know anymore. Later that afternoon, someone dropped a violation slip on his porch. No knock. No doorbell. Just a black-gloved hand caught on his doorbell camera, placing the paper quietly like a bomb. The violation said, "Unauthorized vehicle restoration activity." The words sank into his gut like ice water. He wasn't being fined. He was being targeted. By sundown, the neighborhood turned silent. No laughter. No lawnmowers. No kids outside. Just whispers. Noah sat at his kitchen table, replaying the moment the tow chain snapped tight on his car. He poured 5 years into that engine. The chrome. The custom paint. His father helped him rebuild it after his stroke. It was more than a car. It was memory. And now it was gone. He looked out the window. A black SUV cruised by slow. Tinted windows. Same fake logo on the side. They weren't done. Noah didn't know who they were. But he knew this. If they could take 12 cars in daylight, in silence, with fake authority, what else could they take? He picked up his phone. Called someone he hadn't spoken to in years. A voice answered, cautious. Noah spoke 6 words. "They're back." And they took everything. Noah didn't sleep. He sat in his garage with the lights off, staring at the empty space where his Mustang used to be. The silence was heavier than steel. Something about this wasn't random. Someone planned this. Someone knew which cars mattered most. By morning, Rosa was back at his door with a stack of papers and tear-stained cheeks. Her husband hadn't gone to work. He couldn't face his client. The truck they lost had over $6,000 in custom parts inside. Gone. No insurance. No record. Just like that, she handed Noah a copy of a meeting agenda from 2 months ago. HOA budget session. Line item 14, Community Enforcement Services. But there were no meeting minutes. No voting record. No public approval. Just a rubber stamp and a check mark. Noah scanned the name, Enclave Security Solutions. He'd never heard of it. It wasn't listed in the HOA's usual vendors. And no contact number. Just a P.O. box. He started asking around the neighborhood. Quiet knocks, whispered questions. Most neighbors were too scared to talk. One woman said her Ring camera caught a man flashing a fake badge and pushing her husband when he asked for ID. They didn't report it. They thought it was legal. But nothing about this felt legal. Noah dug deeper. He found old HOA newsletters. No mention of a patrol. No emails. No announcements. Just that one agenda line. He checked the HOA website. The page for board members had been temporarily disabled. He remembered what the dispatcher said. Not in the system. At noon, he drove to the address listed on the tow slip. It was supposed to be a vehicle holding yard. He pulled up to a gravel lot surrounded by a rusted chain-link fence. A handwritten sign said, "Closed for audit." No employees. No cameras. Just one broken gate and the smell of gasoline. The lot was empty. 12 cars gone. Disappeared like smoke. He walked the perimeter. Nothing. No scrap, no tire marks. Like they'd never been there at all. That's when he heard the engine behind him. A red pickup pulled up fast and stopped just inches from his knees. The driver leaned out. Tattooed knuckles. Narrow eyes. "You got no business here," he said. Noah didn't blink. "I'm looking for my car." The man smiled without warmth. "Then maybe don't leave it outside." Then he drove off, tires spinning gravel into Noah's legs. Noah stood there, breathing hard. That night, he met Malik. Malik was a former repo man who now worked nights at an auto body shop 2 towns over. He'd seen the video Rosa posted of her crying as the truck was taken. He reached out with a message. "I know that uniform. It ain't real." They met in a gas station parking lot under flickering lights. Malik didn't waste time. "They're not from your HOA. That patch? You can buy it online. That citation. It's not a code violation. It's a made-up number. And if they're using private trucks, it's a straight-up felony." Noah showed him the violation slips. Malik scanned them and shook his head. "You've been hit by a ghost crew. Happens sometimes in foreclosure neighborhoods. But this is clean. Too clean. They've done this before." Noah felt the cold grip of realization. It wasn't a mistake. It was a system. A neighbor called him that night. Mr. Ellis, the one who lost the van. He whispered into the phone, voice shaking. "They left another notice. This time it says my ramp is a hazard. I think they're coming back." Noah gritted his teeth. Not this time. He went to his garage, grabbed the box his father left him. Inside, old tools, ledgers, and one thing that still had weight, his father's worn military ID. If the patrol thought this was just a quiet neighborhood, they were wrong. Noah was done asking questions. It was time to start digging graves. Because whatever this was, it wasn't about parking violations. It was a war hiding behind paper. And wars end one way or another. By morning, Noah wasn't the only one who had snapped. 3 more violation notices were found taped to front doors, each one more aggressive than the last. One warned of forced compliance. Another mentioned property seizure. The third just had a time. 3 p.m. No explanation. People were scared to breathe. Rosa called Noah in tears again. Her husband had been followed by a black SUV while driving a rental truck. It circled the block 3 times, then it disappeared. Noah told her to come over. Bring everything she had. They weren't hiding anymore. Inside Noah's living room, a small group gathered. Rosa, Mr. Ellis, a retired librarian named Dana, and a teenager named Ty who'd been recording every patrol car that passed by. Ty played back a video on his phone. It showed one of the fake patrol SUVs parked outside the community center. No lights, no movement. But when Ty zoomed in, you could see the driver wearing an earpiece. He wasn't looking at the road. He was watching someone's house. Dana pointed to the timestamp. That was the night my back gate was broken. They were casing us. Noah didn't speak. He was already pacing, already thinking 4 steps ahead. He called Malik again. This time, Malik answered on speaker. "They're laundering titles," Malik said flatly. "If the cars don't show up in any yard, they're being funneled through shell lots. Once they're re-registered in another state, they disappear forever. Can we trace it?" Noah asked. There was a pause. "Not unless you catch them in the act." And that's when Noah had the idea. He looked around the room, eyes tired, backs against the wall. People who had been robbed of more than just vehicles. They'd been robbed of peace, dignity, trust. We bait them, Noah said. They want cars. We give them one. Ty volunteered his uncle's truck. Beat up, but it ran. They parked it in Noah's driveway that night, hood popped, tools scattered like a mechanic's dream. Then they waited. At exactly 3:07 a.m., the black SUV returned. No lights, no sound, just that slow, creeping crawl like a predator. Noah watched from the attic vent, heart slamming in his chest. Ty sat next to him, holding his phone steady. The SUV stopped. Two men got out. Same fake patches. Same clipboard. But now they had radios. One of them circled the truck, checked the plates, spoke into the radio. That's when Noah hit the floodlights. Blinding light poured over the driveway. The men froze. And then Ty pressed send. Live stream active. Title, Fake HOA Patrol Caught Stealing Vehicles Live. Within minutes, comments flooded in. Viewers from other states. People recognizing the logos. Former victims. One even posted, they hit our block last year in Arizona. The men saw the cameras. Panicked. Tried to run. But Rosa stepped out with her phone recording. Dana was already on the sidewalk. Mr. Ellis rolled down his ramp, filming with shaking hands. And Noah? Noah walked straight into the frame, holding his father's old badge. The men turned back toward the SUV. Too late. A siren wailed. A real one. Blue and red lights split the night. Ty had sent the live stream to a local news anchor known for ambush reports. She happened to be watching. Called it in directly. The patrolman froze. One dropped the radio. The other reached for his belt. No weapon, just a bluff. But the moment had cracked. Neighbors poured from their homes. Dozens now. Phones up. Lights on. No more whispers. No more fear. Just rage. When the police arrived, the men tried to talk. Claimed it was a misunderstanding. Contract enforcement. Legal towing. But Noah stepped forward, holding the citation. This code doesn't exist. He handed it to the officer. You've been stealing from us. Intimidating us. And now you're on record. Live. The cop looked at the camera. Then back at the men. You're coming with us. As the handcuffs clicked, Noah felt something in his chest loosen. Not victory. Not yet. But something close to it. Because if these two were here, how many more were still out there? By the next morning, the live stream had over 200,000 views. Noah's phone didn't stop buzzing. Reporters, lawyers, victims from other cities. It was like a dam had broken. One man from Nevada emailed a spreadsheet, 67 vehicles taken under the same fake HOA logo. Another woman from Texas sent photos. Same SUV, same men, same clipboard. This wasn't a row crew. It was a network. Noah sat on a porch as the sun came up, watching a single hummingbird hover near his broken mailbox, a symbol of life in the middle of chaos. For the first time in days, he allowed himself to breathe. Then the email came. Anonymous. No subject. Just a single line. You're in danger. Get everyone out. Attached was a document. A PDF titled Enclave Lease Agreement. Noah opened it. The company running the patrols wasn't a vendor. It was listed as a partner. And at the bottom, buried in fine print, was a clause authorizing full seizure of property in the event of noncompliance with local improvement standards. It wasn't just the cars they were after. It was the homes. He ran back inside, heart racing. Called Rosa. Called Mr. Ellis. Called Dana. We have to go public. All the way. Now, Noah contacted the same news anchor who had called the cops the night before. She agreed to meet at a local park. Neutral ground. Cameras ready. But just before they left, Ty spotted it. Drone. Small. Silent. Floating above the street like a mechanical wasp. It hovered over Noah's house for 10 seconds. Then shot upward and vanished. That wasn't paranoia. That was surveillance. Noah drove to the park anyway. They had no more time to wait. The news van was already there. The anchor, Sierra Monroe, was known for exposing fake inspectors and corrupt contractors. She didn't blink as Noah handed her the lease agreement. This isn't just illegal, she said. This is predatory infrastructure. Noah nodded. They're building fake authority one block at a time. And no one's checking because the uniforms look official. As the interview began, Sierra went live. Noah's voice cracked only once when he spoke about his father, about building the Mustang together, about how that car was the last real thing they shared before the stroke took his speech. He didn't cry, but his voice carried a weight that made the whole park go silent. When the live stream ended, Sierra turned to him. They're going to come after you now. Noah looked at her without fear. Let them. That night, 3 homes were broken into. No alarms, just cut wires. Silent entries. Desks rummaged. Files gone. Rosa's garage door was left wide open. Her security cameras unplugged. Nothing taken except her husband's passport and the title to their backup truck. Mr. Ellis's ramp was ripped from the foundation. Bolts left on the lawn like a message. At Noah's place, the back window was shattered. The box with his father's ID was missing. He sat in the dark, fists clenched. They're not backing off, Dana said, voice trembling. They're escalating. Noah stood. No. They're exposing themselves. He pulled out a flash drive, the one Malik had given him. On it, GPS coordinates of every towing route traced from the live stream. Ty mapped them, overlaid them on a satellite image. The routes all led to the same place. A warehouse on the edge of town, fenced in, unmarked. And inside was everything. Noah stared at the screen. The road spiraled inward like a trap. We're not reporting this, he said. Rosa looked confused. Why not? Noah met her eyes. Because if we do, they'll burn it all before police ever show. Ty's voice shook. Then what do we do? Noah took a breath, then spoke calmly. We're going in. The warehouse looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Dust-coated walls, broken lights, a sagging chain-link fence barely held up by rusted posts. But through Ty's drone footage, they saw the truth. Fresh tire marks, motion sensors tucked beneath fake shrubs, and a metal side door that opened at exactly 2:11 a.m. the night before. They waited until 1:45. Noah wore his father's jacket. Rosa carried bolt cutters. Ty brought 3 backup battery packs and a body cam strapped to his chest. Mr. Ellis stayed behind to monitor the police scanner. Malik met them at the edge of the fence in a beat-up station wagon. He tossed Noah a small radio. 5 minutes, he said. That's all I can buy you before someone notices the cameras are blind. Noah nodded. That's all we'll need. The lock snapped. They slipped through. Inside, the air was thick with oil, dust, and something older, something rotten. They moved in silence. Rosa found the first car, Dana's. Covered in a tarp, battery yanked, VIN scratched. But the inside? Still filled with her grandkids' toys. Still hers. Ty whispered, there's at least 30 here. Noah pointed to a side room. A door with reinforced hinges. Red tape across the middle. They moved fast. Inside were boxes. File cabinets. Laptops still running. And in the middle of the room, a whiteboard with city maps. Color dots. Circles. Notes. They weren't just hitting one neighborhood. They had 6 more lined up. One of the folders had Sierra Monroe's name on it. Surveillance photos. Her house. Her daughter's school. This wasn't a scam. It was a machine. Noah copied everything. Ty uploaded the files to a cloud drive. Rosa recorded it all, narrating quietly, voice shaking but firm. Then the lights went out. A voice echoed through a speaker. You shouldn't be here. Noah froze. The voice was familiar. Calm. Calculated. Then the door behind them slammed shut. Metal clanged. Something locked. From a side hallway, 2 men appeared, same uniforms, no badges, faces covered. One held a crowbar. The other had zip ties. Ty raised the body cam. Noah stepped in front of Rosa. You don't want to do this, Noah said. The man with the crowbar didn't stop until a beam of light exploded from the far side. Headlights. Malik had driven the station wagon straight through the back gate, crashing into the wall like thunder. The men flinched. Rosa grabbed a pipe from the ground and swung hard. One man dropped. Noah tackled the other, fist slamming into ribs, fury replacing fear. Ty kicked the door open. Go, go, go. They ran. files in hand, footage secured. Breathless, bloodied, but alive, Malik hit the highway, tires screeching. No one spoke. At sunrise, Sierra went live again. The footage was raw. Ty's cam, Rosa's voice, Noah's bruised face. She didn't edit anything. By noon, it had 1 million views. By 3 p.m., federal agents raided the warehouse. 12 arrests. 3 unlicensed shell companies exposed. The HOA president resigned. 2 board members under investigation. But that wasn't the real victory. 2 days later, Noah got a knock at the door. A tow truck. Different company. State inspected. Fully verified. And behind it, his Mustang. Untouched. Someone had found it hidden in a private garage 5 towns away. The driver handed him the keys and smiled. Guess someone up there's watching out. Noah didn't reply. He just ran his fingers along the door. He didn't need revenge. He had something better. Truth, justice, and a neighborhood that would never be silent again. Ty started a group, Neighborhood Defenders. Rosa took over the HOA board with a landslide vote. Mr. Ellis's ramp was rebuilt, stronger than ever. Noah? He rebuilt the Mustang with Ty, bolt by bolt. And when Sierra aired the final episode, she ended with one line. When fake power tries to steal your peace, sometimes the only thing louder than fear is a community that finally says no. Like, share, and subscribe for more real stories they try to hide. 2 weeks later, just as peace was beginning to return, something shattered it. A white envelope appeared in Noah's mailbox. No stamp, no return address. Inside was a photo. His house, taken the night before. The window where he and Ty had rebuilt the Mustang was circled in red ink. Below it, one line typed in bold. You embarrassed the wrong people. He didn't show Rosa. Didn't tell Malik. Not yet. Instead, he took the letter to Sierra. She reviewed it under a forensic lens during a live segment, comparing font styles, ink density, even fingerprint smudges. It aired that night. 3 hours later, her studio lost power for exactly 6 minutes. When it came back on, her computer hard drives had been wiped. All backup servers remotely corrupted. Noah got the call at 2:31 a.m. Sierra's voice was low, shaking. They're still out there. The arrests weren't the top. We just cut the arm, not the head. That morning, Rosa's truck was towed again, this time by a tow company no one could identify. Ty's school laptop disappeared from his locker. Dana's HOA file went missing from city archives. Mr. Ellis received a fraudulent city citation for unauthorized ramp extension. It was starting again. But this time, the enemy was invisible. No uniforms. No SUVs. Just slow, calculated sabotage. No one knew what this was. A reset. They weren't trying to scare anymore. They were erasing. That night, Malik showed up at Noah's door with a new laptop. This isn't over, he said. But we just got something. He plugged in a flash drive. On screen, a private auction site hosted offshore. VIN numbers. Real-time bids. Cars listed from multiple states. And buried in the HTML code, tag metadata. Each vehicle was marked with a 3-letter code, EPX. Malik stared at the screen. I've seen that before, he said. It's the name of a dormant logistics firm shut down 5 years ago. Guess who owned it? He clicked once. A familiar name popped up. William Harrow, former councilman, real estate developer. The man who pushed for the original HOA's expansion 10 years ago. The same man who'd resigned quietly just before the fake patrols began. Noah felt the ice in his chest. They weren't just targeting neighborhoods. They were using HOAs to quietly force people out, flip property, and profit in silence. It was real estate warfare. He stood up. Then we go further. We bring in people louder than them. The next day, Noah arranged a community forum at the town center. He didn't ask for permission. He sent one invite to Sierra Monroe. She brought 5 news crews and 2 state-level journalists. By 6 p.m., the room was full. One by one, neighbors stepped up, told their stories. A mother who lost her only car before a job interview. An elderly man who found a fake foreclosure sign on his lawn. Ty played footage of the patrol car, tracking him on his bike. Then Noah spoke. No rage, no theatrics, just quiet power. We trusted fake authority because we were trained to stay quiet. We called it compliance. But it was silence. He held up the photo of his house. They sent this to me after we exposed them. That means one thing: we hurt them. The crowd stood. Applause broke. But as the news crews packed up, Noah received a message on Ty's phone. Airdropped. No sender. Just a photo of the town center, taken from above. And a new message. We see everything. Noah looked up. The sky was empty. But the war wasn't over. Noah didn't sleep that night. He sat in the garage, the Mustang's engine humming softly as it idled. Ty had reconnected the last wire that afternoon. It was ready, the past rebuilt into steel. He stared at the airdrop photo. We see everything. It wasn't just a threat. It was a reminder. They were still watching, still listening, and still confident. But this time, Noah wasn't alone. By sunrise, Rosa had filed an emergency injunction against the HOA's financial accounts. Malik traced the photo's metadata back to a drone signature registered under a shell company. That shell company was linked again to William Harrow. And this time, they had more than whispers. They had evidence. Ty had traced the vents to real-time GPS pings. Malik had backdoored into the private auction site's backend. Sierra had convinced a state representative to attend the next broadcast. They were done playing defense. At 7 p.m. sharp, Sierra Monroe went live with the most explosive story of her career. Noah stood beside her. In front of the entire city, they revealed everything: the coded leases, the offshore auctions, the fake inspections, the staged citations, and the network that connected them all. Behind them, a projector beamed footage of the stolen vehicles inside the warehouse. Then a second feed popped up, live drone footage circling a new lot just 2 towns over. Same pattern, same trucks, same uniforms. But this time, state police were already en route. Harrow's name was spoken live on air. Within minutes, his legal team issued a denial. But it was too late. Ty had already released the files to a whistleblower archive with worldwide access. By midnight, federal authorities raided Harrow's lake house. He wasn't there, but his passport was missing, and the name EPX Holdings had already been flagged by Interpol. Noah didn't celebrate. Not yet. He walked outside, past the cameras, past the applause, and into the street where it all began. Neighbors were gathered, holding candles, photos of stolen cars, names of people forced out. Rosa stepped beside him. "They're not coming back," she said. Noah didn't answer. He looked around. At the home still standing. At the ramps rebuilt. At the children laughing, unaware they'd nearly been erased by greed. He saw life again. The real kind. In the days that followed, a reform bill was introduced at the state level, mandating transparency in HOA enforcement, banning third-party seizure contracts, and launching a new public watchdog group. They called it the 11, named after the first 11 cars stolen in that single neighborhood. Sierra won a journalism award for the story, but she gave it to Noah. He didn't keep it. He left it at his father's grave, beside a rusted socket wrench and an old photograph of the Mustang's first ride. He spoke only one sentence. We got it back. Weeks later, as autumn leaves began to fall, the town felt different. Not perfect, not quiet, but stronger. Noah returned to the garage, not to rebuild, but to teach. Ty brought friends. They worked with their hands. Rosa baked for every session. Even Dana brought coffee, laughing more than she had in years. The community had changed, not because of laws, but because people stopped being silent. And when a new HOA board was elected, Noah refused the nomination. He didn't need a title. He had something better, a voice. And he knew now that was the one thing they could never take. Like, share, subscribe, because silence helps no one, and stories like this are how we fight back.